Welcome to Christchurch. Welcome to the CDC.
Welcome to a new, exciting new season, hopefully. Okay, the first thing, of course, to remember is that the clothing we've packed in your orange bags for you today is based on where you're working in Antarctica and what particular job you're doing. And, of course, what we're going to do this afternoon is to get you to try your ECW gear on before we send you south tomorrow.
Okay.
They call it going to the ice. It's a simple thing to say, but the journey is profound. Tonight, they'll get warm clothes in this United States National Science Foundation warehouse in New Zealand. Tomorrow, they'll leave for Antarctica, 2,400 miles to the south.
My name is Norbert Wu. I'm an underwater photographer. I've been going to the ice since 1997. Most people call me Norb.
You better have two large ones. They're too tight. Turn them back and just get the pants.
Okay.
Just the boots.
Yeah.
Well known for Antarctic photography, Norb Wu and his team have been invited by the NSF's Antarctic program to take high-definition video cameras into some of the least accessible waters in the world.
Norm apparently got a phone call this morning. My name is Christian McDonald. I've been to the ice 6 times. I'll be diving and helping Norb with logistics.
How much weight?
What are our
Weight, actually.
Okay.
And at this stage, it's 280 pounds, unfortunately, which means that we can only take so much gear.
Okay.
But it'll follow.
It'll follow on the next flight.
As soon as possible, yeah.
So what's going on, Noel? Well, we got to repack everything. So this stuff is going to join us on the next flight, which could be anywhere from just 2 days to 2 weeks. You never know.
Check-in time tomorrow morning will be 5 a.m. Okay? So that's basically all there is to it.
At first, it's like getting up early to go on an airliner to anywhere. Same standing around, same security hassles. Feels like going to Chicago.
Hey
Dale, can you do me a favor and hand me my parker? That's right on there.
This is the second year I've gone to the ice with Norb. I'm Dale Stokes. I'm an oceanographer.
This is no airliner. This is not a trip to Chicago. It's so noisy in here you can't talk. You can barely move. It will be an extremely uncomfortable 5-hour journey. About all anyone can do is think about the ice. Antarctica is dominated by ice. Over much of the continent, the ice is more than 1.5 miles thick. This fortress of cold holds captive 70% of all the fresh water on the planet. If the ice melted, the oceans would flood over half the world's population. The ice controls the Earth's climate. It reflects heat from the sun back into space. The seawater it chills affects currents and temperatures everywhere. But there is more to Antarctica than just ice. On the surface, Antarctica seems bleak with its endless cold and its flightless, awkward birds. But that's only on the surface. Norb, Christian, and Dale are going to the ice to get under it. Norb's team is flying as far south as you can go and still find ocean. This is less than 900 miles from the South Pole. It's even too far south for most penguins. Out of 17 penguin species, only 2 live this close to the pole. The big ones are emperors. The small one is an Adelie. The penguins only look awkward on the surface. They are completely at home. 5 hours after takeoff, the plane lands on the frozen sea near McMurdo Station, a United States research base. For the passengers, those 5 hours have transformed their world.
Thanks for flying with us.
It's like getting out on another planet. I'm always impressed with the purity and the vastness of the ice. The sea we want to explore is beneath our feet, locked away under 6 feet of ice. But first we have to learn to deal with the ice.
This is Snowcraft 1. This is the basic snow survival course that all field parties have to attend in order to get permitted to head out into the field.
The height of the winter, as the sea ice is growing, the continent roughly doubles in size. So in a normal year, you'll pretty much see a lot of little cracks in the sea ice out here. What we're going to do here is we're just going to break out our drills and just find out how thick the ice is here. Whenever you're going to drill, and drilling is considering the potential hazards out here, that's the way you find out whether the ice you're on is safe or not.
It's known as Snowcraft 1, also collectively known as Happy Camper School, and sometimes known as Survival School. And I guess a lot of that depends on the weather and the disposition of the folks involved. But today it is definitely Happy Camper School.
Well, this is a couch. See? This is a party couch. And I think I'll turn this into like a little drink rest or a coffee table.
Cool. Okay, high winds coming in from the south. You're going to have to hold on to everything you've got. You can't just take the contents of your tents and dump it onto the ground, because otherwise it's just going to blow away. And for God's sakes, you don't take the thing and try and blow into it. You're going to wind up in medical.
This is a classic Antarctic day out here. It's virtually dead calm, lots of sunshine, but the potential for it to change in the next 2 hours or less is pretty dramatic and pretty amazing. Intimidating, I think, is probably the best word for it. The weather is just plain intimidating, the way it can humiliate you and make you feel small.
It's mid-October, springtime at McMurdo Station.
If you have any trouble at all, you just call MacOps and tell them you have a dive accident. They'll page everyone.
Hundreds of scientists and technicians are here, but most of them, like Norb's team, are inside, getting ready for the season's work.
What transportation options will be best? If you're diving locally here, the best transportation is going to be your Sprite.
Rob Robbins is McMurdo's diving coordinator. He'll often dive with the team.
Have a helicopter launch from here, go up there and pick you up. So
people call this place MacTown. It's a frontier outpost, a modern version of an old mining town. When the weather breaks, everyone scrambles to get out in the field. They're all chasing the most elusive kind of gold, knowledge. This year, the National Science Foundation will support 127 major research projects. The projects cover everything from microscopic worms in the ground, to the movement of ice sheets, to the hole in the ozone, to the crystals made in the big volcano called Erebus, the dominant landmark here.
back into MacTown.
For Norb, Christian, and Dale, gathering equipment and scheduling trips into the field seems to occupy all the daylight hours. And it's daylight all the time.
So what we may want to do is fly up here, see if you like anything. We can land anywhere down there, take the door off, and do it again. And just pull it off. We'll put a rock on the door and leave it.
All this work is dwarfed by Antarctica. It's the only place on Earth that still has huge areas which have never seen the track of a human being.
I'm so ready to dive, I'll dig with a toothpick if I have to. But we still have to plan things out with Rob.
There's some of the Sprite accessible dive sites around here. There's a lot of good diving. At Cape Armitage, it's fairly shallow. There's a shoal there. There's a lot of anchor ice. It's really pretty spectacular. Little Razorback, which is maybe an hour away or so, a lot of big pressure ridges there, so that's a good spot.
Are we going to be able to cross them? Do you think the travel's going to be bad?
The travel, I think, is going to be pretty good. There are some cracks. You're going to want to be careful, but it's fairly safe out there.
I'd really like to film an iceberg underwater. I mean, that's kind of this thing, you know.
There's an iceberg grounded up at Cape Barn, which could be spectacular, but it looks like it's quite a ways offshore. We'll have to see what it pans out to be.
This ice is 6 feet thick. It's like cutting a porthole in a concrete wall. But we can't just go jump in the hole.
I'll come back in, blade it, and I'll bring the hut in, place the hut, we'll put snow around it, and you're down. That was great. Okay, thanks.
Weddell seals are at home on the ice. They live far from open water and use cracks and holes to get in and out of the water and to breathe. In October and November, the seals haul themselves out on the ice to give birth and raise pups.
After 10 days of preparation, we're ready. I admit it, I'm a wimpy diver. I hate boats, I get seasick. This is great. No waves. You just drive out on a frozen ocean in this big red thing, which is called a Sprite.
A Sprite is fun for about the first 5 minutes. It's like driving a tank. But a tank's fast. This thing maxes out at about 10 miles an hour. After 5 minutes, it's sheer unadulterated hell.
After a rough hour's ride over the frozen ocean, the team arrives at the dive hut that they place next to a rock called Little Razorback Island. Dale will be first into the water,